Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel, The Cutest Little Thing, Upcycle with Andrea. I'm excited today. We're going to do several projects together and they are going to all be a really cute farmhouse theme. So I can't wait for you all to see what's in store. So let's just go ahead and get started with our first project. Okay, our gray paint has dried on this piece. I actually decided to do something different than what I initially had planned for this. So I went ahead and I took off the little clip. It just screwed on over here in the corner. So I took it off, and then I'm actually going to go vertical with the sign instead of horizontal how I was going to do it. So I just went on the back and I unscrewed the hardware and just put it up there at the top, and then I took off the little prop piece to sit it on a shelf. I just took that off because I won't need that, and if I decide, I can just put it back on where it can sit vertically. So I may do that. So I'm going to go, instead of doing a second coat with my gray paint, I'm actually going to change it up and go with my plaster, which is an off-white in the Waverly chalk paint. So I'm going to go ahead and just I'll probably need 2 coats, so I'm going to go ahead and do the 2 coats of the Waverly. Okay guys, our paint has dried, and while it was drying, I was thinking that I want to do a crackled look with this sign, and I'm focusing on black and white. So I am going to go and paint this once again with my ink Waverly chalk paint, which is the black. So I'm going to paint a coat of the ink, let that dry completely. I may help it out. I have a hair dryer that I use when I'm crafting. Help it out with its drying. Then I'm going to use the school glue technique to give this a crackled finish. So I'm terrible, y'all. I always change my mind so much when I'm doing my projects. So here we go with our coat of ink in the Waverly chalk paint. And guys, I could have just left the white paint as my base paint and then done my crackle technique with the black paint on top. But for this project in particular, I just want I want that black paint to be the background color, and I want my, more of the white paint showing, for this project in particular. But I have before in a project done my lighter color as my base and then did my darker color to crackle on top for the top coat. So you can do it that way, but for this project, I just wanted this darker color to be my base coat. All right, guys, I'm going to let this dry, and then we'll be ready to do our crackling technique. Okay, guys, our board here is completely dry with our ink Waverly chalk paint. I have here mixed up, all this is, we're going to now create our our crackle technique. All this is, I keep these little measuring cups that come with the children's medicine. Once they're done, I'll use these. They're good for just mixing up some things for your crafts. So this is just 1 part water, probably about right there. And then the rest is just the school glue. Here's the school glue. You can use any brand that you want, and then you just get it mixed up really well. I have done this effect just pouring it straight out the bottle, and that works fine. But you can also add a little water to it, and it's just a little easier spreading onto your piece. Okay, so we're ready to get our glue mixture spread on. I still just kind of take it and pour on my piece, just all over, pretty heavy on my edges as well. I want a lot of crackle on this, and then I just take a paintbrush and spread it all out. And then if I see, if it's a little too much, I can kind of offload some on my paper like that. And that little piece in the board there, that's just where that screw was. I'm not too much worried about it because what I'm going to do with this project, I think it's going to end up being covered up anyway. And if it's not, it'll just look like a knot or something in the wood. So it'll be fine. I'm not too much worried about it. All right, I've got this glue spread. I'm going to just kind of get around the edge as well. Okay, so I've got this spread. I'm going to let it sit for just a couple of minutes where it will kind of start getting a tacky feel to it. And then we'll be ready to do our top coat of our paint, which is our plaster in our Waverly chalk paint. Okay, now we're ready to put on our plaster paint, our top coat. I'm going to put it on fairly thick, and you also don't want to... Hold on, baby, 1 second. Okay, you also want to try not to, overlap your strokes. So try to stick with long brush strokes. I'm also finding that my glue mixed with a little bit of water, it also helps me get this top coat on easier. It's like flowing on there easier. Let's try to put a little bit more right there. All right, guys. I think that's good. So we're just going to, I'm going to sit this over to the side and let it dry. You can take your hair dryer or your drying device. I cannot think of what that thing's called right now. But you can take it and go over it to help it dry, but that your crackle will not be as effective. I mean, it will still crackle, but I have found that just letting it naturally air dry, you get more crackle that way. So I will sit it under a fan, and as you can see, guys, just as I'm talking, we're already starting to see some of the crackle effect. So I will sit it under a fan, a ceiling fan, and just let this dry completely, and then we'll be able to move on to our next step with this project. And look at our board, y'all. It turned out so good. Look at all that crackle. It just looks so aged and worn. I'm loving the black and the white. So that looks really good. Okay, so now our next step, I have these cute little farm animals I actually picked up from my local Dollar General. I still have to take the sticker off. They were $1 each. I thought they were so cute. They came with the little beads on them. Got the pig and also the cow. So I am going to, well, first I'm going to paint them. I think I'm going to go with my gray, my elephant in the Waverly chalk paint. So I think I'm going to paint them gray. I couldn't decide between white or black, and I know they have the white and black beads, but I'm thinking gray will be a good choice for these. So I'm just going to stack them like this, one on top of the other, after I get them painted. But I just wanted to kind of give you an idea of where I was going with this piece, and I think this is going to look so cute when I get it finished. I also considered leaving them the natural wood, which I also like that look as well, but I think I'm going to go with the gray. So we'll get going on that first coat of paint. Our little farm animals dried. I did more of a gray wash than full coverage on the paint, and then I went with my 220 grit sandpaper and I lightly sanded and distressed. Then I attached the little necklaces back on each animal by just wrapping it around and then hot gluing in the back. And you can see how each one turned out. Very cute. So now we're just going to hot glue them onto our Crackle board. Start with the cow at the bottom. I have to go get me another glue stick. Not sure what is going on with this glue gun. It's not wanting to cooperate tonight. Okay, and now for the chicken, or the rooster. sure yet. For our next project, I have this milk pan that I've thrifted for $2.99. I love the color. It's already black. It looks really good all over. So I'm just going to do a quick and easy flip on this. I'm going to be using these transfers. I recently got them from Amazon. I think I'm going to go with this one here and just transfer it right there in the bottom of the pan, and then that'll be done. A quick and easy thrift flip. And there it is, y'all, all done. I think it turned out really cute. Very simple thrift flip. These transfers, I have never used them before. They were my first time. I will link the description of these down below, or the link in the description down below. I did have a hard time getting these transfer to adhere and break away from the paper that they were on. So just keep that in mind when you're using these. They are a little harder than the transfers that I've used in the past. Next up, we have this wooden kitchen board. We are going to do a flip with this. I thrifted this kitchen board for $2.99, and I've already wiped it off, and we're just going to go ahead and go with our first coat. I had some plaster and mineral paint left over, so I just mixed those two together and kind of made a custom color. So I'm going to go ahead with my first coat. Okay, our kitchen board is dry. I have chosen my stencil for it. I've got it taped down with some painter's tape. It's just a farm scene with a barn, a windmill, a cow and a chicken. And then over here I have this stencil, and I'm just going to stencil the word farmhouse under the picture of the barn. So I'm going to go ahead and stencil this on first, and I'm going to be using my ink color, which is a black, in the Waverly chalk paint. So let's get going. I think I've decided to go ahead and stencil on the word kitchen as well, because this will most likely be put in a kitchen. I was going to leave that word off just so it wouldn't limit this piece to a kitchen, but I'm pretty sure that's about the only place that this piece will be used in the kitchen. So I'm just going to go ahead and stencil on the word also. And there's our finished product, guys. I think that looks so cute. I'm going to lightly, I have a little bit of paint left on my brush, so I'm just going to go and lightly dry brush on some black around on our board. I think that will complete this look. I always start on the edges just so I can kind of get a feel of my paintbrush and just kind of make sure, you know, I don't have too much paint on there or anything. And also, I don't mind if my edges have more paint on them or are darker than the rest of the piece. So, I always start on the edges when I can. Get up here, going up around the handle. And I also want to kind of get, I'm making sure y'all can see, on these edges here on the handle. And I'll get that other side. Now I'm just going to lightly go on the whole piece. And again, it's just very light strokes. And it's almost just getting, just hitting those raised pieces of wood, like the pattern of the wood, and also maybe some paintbrush strokes. And the good thing about dry brushing is if you get too much, you can always go and sand it, lightly sand it, and it will take care of any excess paint that, you know, you want to kind of fix if you got it too heavy in some spots, or if you decide, you know what, I don't like that look after all, and you just want to go and kind of sand off where you dry brushed. So you can definitely play with it to get it how you like it and for your preference. And there we are, guys. I love it. Let me know what you think in the comments. Okay, y'all, I have decided to make a little bow for our kitchen board here. I've already just cut me some pieces of ribbon here that I had on hand and just kind of make some burlap. I had this piece, that just some stuff I already had on hand, so I've got that right ready. I also have these gift tags I recently ordered from Amazon I thought I would add a little gift tag on the bow. I've already taken one and painted it white with my Waverly chalk paint in the color plaster. Okay, I'm going to take my 220 grit sandpaper. I just had a piece off my sanding pad, and I'm just gonna lightly sand over it just to get some of my brush strokes out. So not much at all. Okay. Now I want to take, I have these cute little farm animal stamps. I also ordered these off of Amazon. And I will put links down in the description box below for you guys if you want to head over and grab these for yourself. So I'm going to be using the little lamb stamp on my tag. And anytime you have new stamps, you can just take your sandpaper and brush over them. And you only need to do it when they're new out of the pack, and it just kind of preps them for the ink and gets them ready for that. But I have used them brand new out the pack without prepping them with the sandpaper, and they work fine too. Okay, so I've got my stamp inked up. I'm just going to press down right on that tag. And there we go. How cute is that? Okay, so I'm going to just set that over to the side where it can be drying. Cover my ink back up. I also get my ink off Amazon. Okay, I've got my pieces of ribbon ready. I also had a little bit of raffia. I'm just going to place on top of my ribbon. Kind of reminds me of hay, so it's perfect for all these farm animals and the farm theme going on here. So I've got my string through my tag. These came with the little pre-cut strings. And I'm just going to place that tag and then wrap that string around my ribbon pieces as well. I'm going to tie that all together. I'm not sure if this is going to tie it tight enough or if I'm going to need some extra jute to hold that ribbon. Okay, I think I will put some extra jute rope around to hold, just to hold that ribbon tight. Okay, just gonna cut it and tie it on the underneath. There, that's a little bit more secure. Let's give it a double knot on the back. Then you can just kind of position your pieces of ribbon how you want them. Just a piece of tape on that. Okay, and there we have it, guys. How cute is that? And then I have enough excess jute string. I can tie it on my board or hot glue, but I think I'm going to tie it just in case the buyer wants to remove it or do a seasonal bow for a different season. But is that not the cutest little thing? I just love it. Let me know what you think in the comments.